Good morning. Is this December or November with all this snow and weather? Hopefully everybody, there's a couple people saying they were just learning here a minute ago, but everyone knows down in the basement, starting at 11:30, Brooke?
Yes.
Starting at 11:30, we were going to have turkey and I don't know what we're going to have, but we're going to have lots of food. So we'd love to have all of you show up, eat. All right, guys, we got a quick video, and then we're going to hit the sales meeting.
I was born on a farm away south of here almost 90 years ago. Sometimes it feels like 100 years, sometimes just last week. I'm a fruit farmer. God puts the fruit in the trees, I get it to the people. I take a lot of pictures, helps me see longer, helps me hold on to things that would rather be getting on their way. So my daddy bought me my first camera, told me it was a time machine. I seen him cry over a photograph or two. Photo of his mama. One of his brother died when he was little. I met my Hattie when we were both 15. Had to wait a few years more to get married. She was a soft creature. Used to fit right up under my arm if we were both standing without shoes on. And she'd look up at me in that way that was hers. Every day until the day she died. She gave me 3 good kids. The boys strong, and the girls were sweet like her. Never had much to speak of in the way of money, but I never felt poor. I always felt like God gave me more than I knew what to do with. I got this house and the farm. I got my eyes to see the trees put on their best colors in the fall. I got these legs that move me over my land. I got these arms that can still remember the heft of my babies. These hands that know soft and rough. My ears still hear music that put the shivers under my hair and down my back. My heart still bumps inside me, talks to my God, tells him my troubles, thanks him for what he gave me. I don't know what else to be but grateful. Honest, I just don't.
We're doing our Thanksgiving thing downstairs. Love to have you come. If you got other people floating around out there that don't know about it, tell them to please come in here starting at 11:30. I guess if you want to watch the movie starting at 10:15. And then next week is Thanksgiving Day, and we had Veterans Day yesterday, right? And I remember a good buddy of mine, I'm going to meet up with him Friday to go down to the Wisconsin-Nebraska duel for wrestling. Mark Rigatuso had invited me to, when he's inducted into the NCAA Wrestling Hall of Fame. And in his speech, he said that Coach Denny would always say, an attitude without gratitude is no attitude at all. And Mark, I think, always lived his life by that. And then 2 years ago, some of you might remember, a kid at Millard North committed suicide. That was Mark's son, Gabe, who had Tourette's. And Brooke took off here, but Mark was in here. And Mark's a deeply religious guy. His brother Leo is a minister, priest down in Bellevue. He was Mr. Nebraska, and they're these big guys. Mark was a heavyweight wrestler an alternate on the Olympic team. And I remember afterwards he came in and we were talking about attitude, and we were talking about that attitude of gratitude. And he said, I didn't realize that it was easy for me to have an attitude of gratitude because I never had anything really tough happen in my life until this happened. And he said, I started drinking and smoking, and I was pissed off at God. He said, and then I had to get that attitude back. that I need to be thankful for the wife I have that still loves me, for the kids I still have that are healthy, and for my friends, for my health, and for all these other things. And I think it's easy to be thankful and have gratitude when things are going well. The test comes when the hard times come, when things go wrong that are unexpected, that you don't want to have happen. So we've talked a lot about mindset the last couple weeks that I believe we're coming into correction. And the Miracle Morning, I know Heather has had people read that book in her class that's finishing up this Thursday. Hallelujah that it's finishing up. So that's what Heather's grateful for. No more class for a year. But I know a lot of times I've talked when I was in my speeches in Montana and California that we need to wake up in that morning and put ourselves in that right mind. And I think having that attitude of gratitude and being thankful for our health, for our loved ones being alive, for all of the good things we have in our life is really important. I think we're in that season. So, reach out to somebody that you're thankful for in your life here in the next day or two and tell them, I love you, thank you, I appreciate you. Put a smile on their face, it'll probably make you feel better too. So, this is the season to be thankful for our veterans that defend our freedom and our country. So, sorry for the emotions. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. First of all, parking's really at a premium today because the 45 spots in the basement can't be used because Brooke has mandated that we moved out of there for her turkey day. But we have, our agreement is, Pitch has a sign that says no parking this way, but that's Pitch parking only for those front 2 rows by their building. Our agreement with Pitch is, and we've got to be utilizing some of those spaces right now, especially on a day like Tuesday. Regular day, people are coming and going. That those 2 rows by the street, and there's like 23 parking spots there. We can park there, and vice versa. The agreement says they have the ability to have their people park over on our 2 rows by our street too. So when you're coming in on a Tuesday morning like this, and I talked to one of the guys over there the other day, one of the managers, is I said, Tuesdays are going to be the day we're probably going to really need to make sure that we're utilizing those front 2 rows over there. So we do have the ability, those front 2 rows by the street, to utilize Pitch's parking. And so when we're coming into sales meetings, this is kind of a low attended sales meetings. Hopefully everybody home's cooking turkeys. And by the way, cooking turkeys, Brooke's like, we had last Friday, 20 turkeys in my office that people were picking up. And Brooke's like, we still need people to cook some. So Ava, my stepdaughter, comes in. I says, hey, Ava, they need people to cook turkeys. You want to cook one of these turkeys with me on Monday night? She's like, oh, yeah. Well, so last night, she's like, I was kidding. I'm like, Ava, you were supposed to be Googling this because I've never cooked a turkey before. Shannon clearly doesn't know how to cook a turkey. It is 10 o'clock at night. I've been trying to thaw this thing in cold water for a number of hours. I'm just telling you guys, my turkey should probably be the last turkey you eat. At 10:30. Well, it says the cold water is the way to do it, but you have to every half hour keep putting more cold water in it. So I'm like, this is wearing me out. Well, I took it out and Friday thinking it would thaw in the refrigerator between Friday, and it was still frozen. Jay and I'm like, Jay, Shannon can't find the top to her roasting pan. She's like, oh my, Jay's like, oh my God. And then Jay brings up the idea, he's like, which I didn't know you could do this. He's like, well, there's these bags. And then all of a sudden Shannon's like, oh my God, I have one of these turkey bags. And I'm like, okay, someone Google what the heck to do with this thing. So my turkey may be turkey jerky. Shannon's out there right now because she was no help at all. Let me tell you what. I kept saying this is a woman's job and everyone else saying, no, this is a man's job. I'm like, well, not in this house. So we will mark mine. I would probably eat it last if there's no other turkey left. But if you think your stepdaughter's going to help you cook a turkey, let me tell you, she ain't. Maggie, could you come up here real quick? I will tell you, the email migration went a whole lot smoother than it did the first time we did it this year.
Yes.
Maggie's texting me at 8 in the morning on Saturday morning, and we're thinking this thing isn't going to be up till Sunday, that it's up and going. Can you give me a call? I'm like, really? And I think we've had a steady flow of people on Saturday and Sunday and yesterday. We've had Berkshire Hathaway has been kind enough to bring in people from Des Moines and Minneapolis to help us on this process. I was talking to Brian. I said, this is one of these things, and I want her to talk a little bit about the cyber fraud thing that's taken place here and what we've done with that. That with this, between the cyber fraud thing, which has been not good at all, and this email migration, that having Berkshire Hathaway have the manpower and the wherewithal to come in and help us has been a huge, huge advantage for us, that we would be struggling with this mightily if we did not have that behind us. And we talked about when we did this, one of the things that we liked is the financial resources and the human resources that they have to help us in these type of things when we're trying to learn things. So Maggie, talk about a little bit, because we sent out from me, which I wrote none of, but I'm sure they sounded great. We've sent out a number of emails to you talking about some, I think 6 or 7 people that had been hacked and some cyber fraud and what we've done. Then talk about, I call it dual verification, but you call it multi. Can you talk about those type of things and kind of walk through with them what we need to be doing as we're moving forward, please?
Okay, so we migrated the email over to the HomeServices email tenant. And basically what that means is there's a whole bunch of more security involved. So one of the things that's we're probably going to see the most actually is if you log in internationally, we get a flag. And that's kind of what we enabled after we saw the first compromised email account in the middle of October. So what we started seeing was about 6 or 7 agents whose email accounts were either being logged into from foreign countries where they weren't traveling to, or their account had already been compromised and it was sending out, you guys all got them, the settlement statement attachments. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get your credentials, because then what they do is they log in and they sit there and they watch your email and they create rules so that any messages related to your transactions automatically go to your deleted items folder. And then they go check your deleted items folder because they want to intercept either the seller's proceeds or the buyer's wire. So obviously that's a huge issue. It's really prevalent in real estate right now. This new email tenant has some security in place to help us prevent that. We've seen it on the CBS side. We ultimately had 99% of the accounts with that multi-factor authentication. And MFA or two-step authentication, whatever you want to call it, it basically sends a text message to you and says, is this legitimately you? And you type in a little code every time you're logging into like a computer or a device that you don't use regularly. It's painless, but we have to probably get it set up on everybody in this room. So the tech people are downstairs. We can do it now. You're going to hear a lot about it in the next coming months. You know, the goal would be to have everybody have that multi-factor authentication on their email, because
and it protects you at the end of the day.
Yeah, it protects you. You know, and we hear it every now and then. Hey, I'm getting this notification that I'm trying to log into my email and it's not me. And in fact, one of the compromised email accounts that we did put that MFA on had that happen very shortly after. And so, you know, the credentials are out there. It's why when we did your email migration, we did ask you to change your password. You know, it's just to protect you. It's to protect your clients, and it's a good thing to have in place. Yeah. So that's what's, I guess, happening. We've got 4 or 5 tech people here again today to help you. If you need a computer remoted into to set up email, we've got people in Des Moines that can help do that. So there is a whole team of people here that can help you get logged into your email, get your accounts recreated. It's pretty seamless. Lisa, questions? Today we are we're gonna be in the ping pong room today. First floor.
It's right next to the Stella machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we brought beer in for them on Saturday and Sunday. We want to make sure that their brains lubricated so that they can think clearly when they're doing this for you.
So downstairs.
Today we're downstairs, yeah.
Dave.
Is it automatically set up that two-step authentication, or does it go to your email?
Well, we thought about that, but we thought that might not go well. So we did not enable it by default. Now there's a handful of you that were lucky enough to have it randomly enabled, so we just set that up, but we would have to enable it for you, and we can do that. So if it's something that you want today, you're like, yep, sign me up, we can get that enabled for you and show you how to use it. So,
And we're going to really encourage everybody to do this, guys, in the long run. So when people are leaving from CBS coming over here, do they need to reactivate that?
if you leave today or yesterday and then you come over here, it's literally like we changed your name. We're just changing your company, and your password and your MFA is still enabled. So,
Other questions? Maggie and her team really, honestly, have done an unbelievable job here, so we want to give them a big hand. We want to talk about the tough things, too. And those of you that came from CBS, and I think some of our people heard it last Thursday, where's Scott? Scott went and told a number of people they weren't going to have jobs moving forward. Here's the math on this, and I want you to understand kind of where we're coming from. We're going to keep, we believe 70% of the agents is kind of the math is what's telling us right now, Scott, and I think you're telling me 69% of them have already signed up. We're pretty much getting towards the end of this, saying 70. We kept 70% of the employees over there. From a perspective of making sure that we're giving you guys the service that we need to moving forward, quite honestly, if I was to do this and we would have organically added the volume that we're adding, which is probably going to be, we believe, 3,500 transactions, no more than 4,000 transactions, and understand we as an organization is doing, in Omaha, we are doing about 9,000 transactions. If you look at it from a problem standing point, we've got Brian, Heather, myself, and Mark will help on that. So we've got 3 sales managers and a trainer, and coming over with less than half the transactions we're adding Scott, Brian Frazier, who we adding? Mark Leaders, and Trudy's coming over as a trainer, and we're going to continue to have, we're actually bringing over more management team on a problem-solving thing with less than half the transactions. So we're adding more than enough people there that we think is probably going to give us more resources than we've had before. Went through with Carrie and admin what we needed to do to make sure that we were doing that. What I found out in this transition, what we consider admin and what you guys consider admin is probably not the same. Our organization has been a little bit more intermingled, where finance and admin was kind of working together. So we're bringing it over to put in the admin office. Stephanie, is that correct? And Lisa. And then we have an accountant then going over, I don't remember the accountant's name, going over there to staying on the finance side. But we have those kind of work together. So we believe at the end of the day, we've really brought more than enough people, because we said we'd rather have enough people and then let's figure out where we're at. Because I still believe we're in a correction. Next spring, if we have too many people, somebody will move or retire, something like that. We just probably won't replace them at that time. But from a technology standpoint, we've more than doubled. We had Dion as a full-time and Matt as a part-time. We're bringing 2 full-time people over plus Maggie on technology. I think our agents would agree that when we moved over to this new building and added technology, which was hard for me to do, I was called cheap the other day by Heather, saying, she said, I can't actually believe you kept that many people on. I said, I think of it as financially, what was it?
You said you were conservative.
I was conservative, and then I gave cheap, but cheap was the word that came out. So those of you coming from CBS know that I clearly was not cheap on this situation. But we're bringing more than double the staff on that. We are bringing the graphic designers. I had Jay told me he was using the photographer the other day to go take pictures, and that's going to be there. We don't have a hard number on that, but right now we're going to charge $50 to do the pictures on that. So we're going to have opportunities for us for graphic designers. And Maggie and I will sit down over the next week or 2 and start figuring out what that looks like to get that rolled out to you guys right after Thanksgiving here. We're bringing over an additional transaction coordinator. So just understand, we can't keep 100, and we're not. This is tough. This is tough to have these conversations. But it wasn't reasonable to think we could keep 100% of the employees when we're only bringing over 70% of the people. And quite honestly, from a staff standpoint, we're going to be well more staffed today from a support system than we clearly were in the past. So I wanted to talk through that. If someone's got questions, you can grab me offline on that. But I wanted you to understand the thought process behind this and what went on. But we were kind of calling it Black Thursday because there was a lot of, it was a sad moment. Now there's some people that we're hoping that we can place, maybe being assistants for other agents and stuff like that. So we're here to help anybody we can in any way we can. But that's kind of what happened and took place and where we're at on that. We are going to start bringing over You're going to start getting love notes. Who's the additional person that's going to start doing love notes? Shelby for compliance. Daryl's been, where's Daryl? Daryl, I feel like, has been a little overwhelmed, so we're having him do some other duties in this transition here. So that person will be coming over, and you'll be getting some notes from her moving forward also. And so tech people literally have been on site over the last week. We've had an additional tech people here. So you're going to start seeing some new faces here over the next week or two. Title is going to be, I think you guys had those conversations yesterday, Scott? Okay. Title is going to be merged. We're 100% set on this. NLTA is going to be merged into ATS. So everything will be ATS. Hopefully. I've had a couple calls with 5 or 6 attorneys on the phone each time, which is, let me tell you, is not fun. Sorry, Scott. But hopefully, if they can get through all of their stuff, December 1st will be the merger of the title companies moving forward. And then ATS will be closing all NLTA closings after December 1st. The same thing here. Anything that you have as a CBS agent that went pending at CBS that closes between now and January 1st will close under CBS. Anything that would close that you had pending at CBS January 1st on will all close under the BHHS brand. Am I missing anything there, Scott?
No, you're good.
Okay. Questions, guys, about anything? All right. I said a number of weeks ago that the real estate industry is shifting rapidly, and that you've got EXP and Compass and all of these other disruptors in the marketplace saying we're technology companies, and because we're a technology company, many of them are saying we don't need an office and we don't need this. And I said, that's just craziness, right? And we've talked about this, that it's been proven at Google and Apple and Facebook that having brick and mortar, having a campus, having collaboration, idea sharing is what's made them great, not that they're technology companies. I've also said, everybody, 5 years from now, anybody that's going to be a relevant national firm is going to be a technology company. Between HomeServices of America and the Berkshire Hathaway network, they're spending $40 to $50 million a year on technology. I don't know what school you guys went to, but that's a lot of money to me. And one of these first changes we're finally seeing that's been taking place forever, and it's too bad the second computer's not working, is Salesforce, which has an $11 million a year contract, is my understanding, with BHHS, has just rolled out the first stages of the Resource Center, which I understand is pretty cool. So
very cool.
We're going to have December 3rd, Carrie, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yes.
Morning and afternoon classes. We're still not 100% sure on what those are. They're going to be at least hour dives deep into what are going to be the for sure the CRM system.
Up here, so learn.
Up here. Can you guys all read that?
Marketing resource.
Marketing resource, lead resource, social media resource.
Seller Advantage, I think, are the 3 they're pushing.
And I'm still talking about maybe we do more than that. So, guys, we'll get that out to you by the end of the week. But December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we're bringing Berkshire Hathaway people, flying them back in again to do a much deeper dive. Tabitha, can you jump in? Do we have a mic for you? Okay. She's going to talk a little bit about Resource Center and the ease of it, what's connecting to. This is going to be a great tool for us to start connecting in a more meaningful way with our clients moving forward.
Okay, so first things first is check your email accounts, because you're all going to have brand new usernames. From your email account is actually where you're going to go and reset your password there as well. They make it a little bit easier than last time when we have to do a reset. You can actually hit the forgot password now and you'll get an update email. According to what happened this morning. This is brand new. It literally just rolled out at 8 o'clock this morning, so I'm just kind of getting familiar with myself. But as you can see, it's completely different. They have these boxes as opposed to just links in there, you know. Basically, it's a responsive design allowing you to connect with Resource Center from any internet-enabled device. So since it's responsive, you can pull it up on your phone, on a tablet, on an iPad, or anything, and it's going to just kind of, what's it called? Just it fits. It fits very nicely. And from your mobile device, if you pull it up, you can see that the words have just been, shrunk. So it has a more modern look and feel. It has these tile icons so that you can easily access some of the items that we're already familiar with, like Learn Center. That's where you're going to go and learn everything there is. You can find videos, you can find templates, PDFs for absolutely everything. Bob Watson will cover more on that. Mobile resource, that's where you can go and actually do some advertising via mobile. Your marketing resources, the standard resource center. So that's gonna look exactly like the marketing resource did before. So you can go in, that's where you can do your Videolicious, do your standard e-cards that go out for listings and that sort of thing. The shop at BHHS, of course, you can get your BHHS gear there. They have put social media resource in its own tile right now so that you can go, when you click there, it's going to take you automatically to that Engage one-to-one. If you haven't signed up, you're going to click there and then scroll to the very bottom and get the free version. Lead resource is exactly the same, but the difference between lead resource and there used to be a seller advantage link. Because lead resource always had seller advantage in it anyhow, it's just inside of that tile box itself as well. We also still have the buyer match where you go and put in the criteria, and it works with, it's only as good as the people that you put in the system, however. So if you're not using this as a CRM, then it's probably of no use. And then the luxury connection is exactly the same, so you can go and interact with other people as well. One thing that you do need to do, however, in the upper right-hand corner there is to go and also fill out your profile section. And it's the standard profile. Make sure all of your contact information is the same. Go and add a photo. You can also manage your certifications there. So if you have more certifications, you can add those in. So just your standard updating of a profile page, right?
What category are you under right now?
Right now I'm under the profile section.
website pulls.
So in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see your name. Once you've created your password when you're logged in, anywhere where you see that little head icon, that's your profile section always. So when you click in there, that's where you can edit your profile information. You're also going to want to click on the settings there so you can go in and manage your account. This is where you're going to change your password if you want to. Change your password, update your email information, and things like that. So they give us more access now to actually be able to do this than just the people sitting behind that chat feature. Speaking of that chat feature, it's gone now. We do have like a case system. So if you need to talk to support, you can click on support and then contact support. This is it's a really smart interface. So as you start typing the subject, if there's another conversation out there going of anything that you need, you might already find it there. If not, you're going to submit a case and then they will get back to you supposedly within 2 hours. They are only open Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. However.
Now, does that say Pacific Standard Time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they're open to 8 o'clock at night here.
Just pretend like it's a brand new profile and go in and make sure everything is completely updated from your My Profile and from your settings.
Now, it's my understanding that the CRM system now can connect to the electronic newsletter, to Videolicious, to the e-cards and those type of things. And so seamlessly we can go into our CRM system and send those out times in advance saying I want to send this out.
Yep. So if you go into lead resource, if you're just now adding your contacts, don't go into marketing resource and add your contacts there. Always go through lead resource. If you need a file, the format of how to put those leads in, we can send that to you. It's also in lead resource. So when you're adding your contacts to your CRM, it needs to go through lead resource and not vice versa. Otherwise, you'll have to add it to 2 different places. Does that make sense? Lead resource first.
Are the ones from marketing resource in lead resource?
Nope. The ones from marketing resource will not go into lead resource, but if you put them in lead resource, they will go into marketing resource. So always start at lead resource.
Show up December 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Another thing here. Notifications, obviously the same kind of meaning there. If you have a lead come in through lead resource when you're using the system, if you can get notifications here. Just be like that little red icon that says, "Hey, something's happening over here." Same thing with updates, so you'll get a notification for that. This is a global search functionality. It's highly intuitive, just kind of like the Google search bar. So when you use keywords in what you're looking for, anything associated with that keyword will appear in the drop down according to its relevance. So just like in Google. You can search for people, articles, learning diagrams, links, anything in the resource center, and then it starts recognizing your behavior so that the next time you go, it becomes a lot more easily to search. Chatter is also an interactive platform. It's kind of like LinkedIn, so you can start discussions here and you can go in and it's with all other Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices affiliates as well. So kind of the same conversation. You can join groups, you can tag people, you can share posts and get a bunch of different ideas and information. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not, commercial resource. If you are in commercial, it's going to be in this little app center here. So if you need to access that, it's not on the front page any longer. It's in this little app section.
Questions?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing as what we had before. It just looks prettier, more modernized.
And it's integrated with each other a lot better.
The
Yep.
mobile responsiveness is huge, because the other one wasn't. It was
Yes.
where you could do e-cards and things from your phone.
So the
Yep.
mobile response is much better.
Yes.
Yes.
So Tabitha, on the CRM part, are they gonna start putting like templates in, or do we have to create our own templates, like, to actually use it as a CRM sending out?
No, this has all, it already has, it's just like the in-marketing resource, all the templates are already there for you.
Okay.
Yep. E-cards are exactly the same. Your videos take advantage of the videos as well when you're, sorry?
That's what I'm talking about, is like your campaigns and stuff like that.
So,
I think there's templates in there.
oh yeah, you can,
Yes,
yeah,
there is.
for sure. You
My
can-
understanding, there's drip campaigns that are hooked right to the CRM system that you can just set up to go out on
Those are
them.
called action plans, and they're inside of lead resource, marketing tools, and then action plan manager.
So the question was, is there drip campaigns hooked up to the CRM system that are already formatted in there for you? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
So
They have holiday
Scott, can you
cards
come on
that
up
go
as I get a
out.
couple of questions? I want to have you talk about the legal plan and explain that. Dave and then, no, Mamie and then Dave.
So is this the Salesforce CRM that we've been talking?
No, not quite. So it's interactive with Salesforce, but it's not quite the full platform of Salesforce, which we'll be rolling out later.
It's the beginning stages of this
It's
thing.
beginning stages of it, though. So everything will transition very smoothly with Salesforce platform.
Upload everything to this, it won't be like.
Nope, it'll be just fine.
Is, on the email system, is there any way you can track if somebody opened it or anything like that?
Yep. You can. So if you're sending out anything,
So the question
e-cards-
was-
the question was, can you track open rates and things like that? You can do that for marketing resource as well. When you're sending out cards, you can go in and look at the account information and see who's opened it and who has opted out, that sort of thing.
Scott, you left your seat for 3 seconds and it's gone. One of the things that CBS has offered that my understanding is has about 95% adoption. Are we done, Tabitha?
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you. Great job. Is a legal plan they have. And first of all, some of you coming over from CBS said, I paid that in May and it runs through May. You're still paid through May, okay? So you're covered that. But can you talk about the legal plan? It's $95 a year. And what's it cover?
Well, I get emotional about this because it helps pay attorneys.
He's an attorney.
And we call this attitude of protect your attitude. So what we have is we have a legal plan that we've had offered it for years and years. And it's, as Vince said, it's a $95 one-time charge for the year. We generally have had people have to opt out of it just because it's always been so well received. And what it does for you is if you were to get sued, which happens every once in a while, if you were to get sued and under your insurance, your E&O insurance, you have a deductible, right? And generally you are responsible, if you have like the state plan, you're responsible for that $1,000 deductible if they have to pay a settlement. And 92% of all lawsuits end in a settlement. And so invariably you'll end up paying that $1,000.
And our deductible, which has $1 million limit, not the $100,000, has a $2,500 deductible. So we would go ahead and your whole $2,500 deductible would be covered under this plan too.
Yeah, so it's a far better plan, the E&O plan that they have here because of the coverage, of course. And Vince has talked about it before. You know, you take an average house is $230,000, $240,000, and the state basic plan gives you $100,000 in coverage. You have termites in a house that weren't found or you missed or you forgot to disclose, and they have to tear that house down. You've hit your $100,000 limit without even thinking about it. And then the insurance company literally can wipe their hands and walk away from you. They don't have to pay for your attorney anymore. They don't have to pay anything. They can just dump policy limits. They'll pay $100,000. You're then responsible for your defense. You're responsible for for any damages above and beyond that. I mean, and that's personal stuff. They can come after your house, your cars, and everything else. So having $1 million in coverage is a really good thing anymore with the average price sales. The other thing that the legal plan does outside of covering that E&O is if you get a real estate commission complaint against you, which happens all the time when you're not even involved or you're not the complaining party. Because what the real estate commission does is when they investigate it, they'll investigate the original complaint, they'll look at the facts within it, and if they don't find anything, they'll send it back and go, there's nothing here. But as part of that investigation, they review the entire transaction file. And so if you miss a signature or you didn't get an agency disclosure signed, they will file a complaint in their own name against you. At that point, under our legal plan, if you send it to us, we immediately hire an attorney for you. That attorney will defend you through a settlement or a what's called a consent of a dismissal of the action, or if it actually goes to hearing, they will be at that hearing for you and cover the whole time. And so you'll have a full defense at an E&O complaint. If you think about it, any good attorney costs you about $200 an hour at the very least. Our legal plan is $95. So not even
per year.
Per year. So not even a half an hour of that person's time is covered by this for a full defense. It has been extremely well received at CBS, very well liked, and we'd want to continue to offer it just because it's a good benefit.
We talked about in the managers meeting last Thursday or Friday, and Brian and I both thought it was a great plan to offer to our people.
And it protects you,
too. It seems
too.
kind of to be a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, it protects you, it protects the brokerage, it protects everyone, and it gets those poor attorneys paid.
All right, any questions on that, guys? Anyone that CBS used it or likes it?
Tell us your story, Marla. What did you do wrong?
You like the safety of it, right? Yeah. Yeah. We will. And back to the reason we have the $1 million policy, not the $100,000 policy, and we've always done that, not the state plan, is we've had a couple people. Is Deb Sizek here? Jen Hellman. We've bought some condos or houses before because we sold the wrong house. And so if you're going to have to go buy a house and hold it for a while, you want to have enough coverage to get you out of that mess. So we are a big fan of continuing to not use a state plan, I would tell you, and use our plan that has the cyber fraud. Talking about what Maggie's talking about, our cyber fraud coverage, you're covered if you're using the BHHSAMB email address. But if you're using one of your own email address and you forward that into that, you lose the coverage. So if you don't have our cyber fraud coverage, which is covered part of our errors and omissions plan, please, and you're using a separate email address, I beg you, please go get cyber fraud coverage from Farm Bureau, State Farm. There's a number of people out there, but it's going to be a whole lot more expensive than what you're paying for with us. So, but our insurance company just will not cover anybody if they're not doing it. We're hoping that this thing that we just went through with this email migration and the additional securities we have are going to help us control the cost of that moving forward.
So on that, because now I'm getting scared, I should do my Jackson Group email. So can we forward it from our Gmail to that, and then it's covered in there, or no, just get rid of it entirely?
So if you're using anything, if you have any email coming in or out of that for business purpose, so if you're using your Jackson email and it's going into that BHHS, you don't have cyber fraud coverage. But if you're
I'll just tell everyone, I looked into my own cyber coverage, and they go by your volume. So if our team does 30 million, $9,000 a year. So.
Yeah, well, I know the few people I was talking about, they were going and getting $250,000 of coverage, not $1 million of coverage, for $400 or $500 a year. So it's a whole lot more than $15 a month, which is what we charge. We'll probably charge it for errors and omissions.
Right. It's just like medical insurance, right? The more people you have in it, the lower you can lower the cost. And so as a brokerage, we have more ability to angle the cost lower than you possibly be able to do on your own.
So, any questions about the legal plan, guys? All right. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. So, we continue to talk in these mastermind groups, having one-on-one coaching sessions about what's the state of the economy right now. And I will tell you, every week that goes by, I continue to feel more and more like we are in 2010, not 2018, for the activity that's going on in the marketplace. Brian, what the hell's going on here?
Make it full screen.
Don't tell Ellie that we did this today, guys. Brian, people have problems, and you need to... Brian thinks this is funny. I said, well, Ellie should at least show up to see it if you're making fun of her. As we continue to talk about what's the state of this economy, we'll have here in 2 days, is today the 13th? We'll know how many pendings went were new pendings in the month of October for the marketplace versus last year. Remember, September's pendings were down 10% over last year, and pendings are the number that I check more often. But the conversation's taking place on a daily basis with people that have $150,000 to $200,000 listings, talking about getting price reductions, talking about not having a lot of showings. And this comes down, in my mind, to we've got to start setting different expectations on how long it's going to take to sell the property, different expectations on how many showings we're going to get to the property, and different expectations for what we're going to get for the property. So I want us to have this whole fundamental mind change, and we're, Heather and Tabitha and I are all going to be working on trying to figure out how to come up with some programs. I'm going to engage Mark and Scott and Brian and the other managers in this. We need to start sitting down and role-playing and scripting and figuring out what is that message that we need to do, because we have to set correct expectations to yield proper results. And I don't want us to be setting an expectation that that house is going to sell in a day, or it's going to get a number of showings, or it's going to do this, because right now the reality is that's not happening. So anybody, what Heather said is, one of the conversations we had is we would like in our next sales meeting after Thanksgiving to get 4 or 5 of you that feel like, and we're probably going to reach out to some of you if nobody volunteers, 4 or 5 of you that feel really comfortable, that's been in the business. I would kind of like you to have been in the business where you've went through the 2008, 9, 10 time frame, because half of you haven't been in a tough market, right? Half of you have started this business. What did we go down to, 1,800 agents in 2009, 10? And we're at 3,000 now on the board? Half of you have never seen this time. So we want to put a panel together for our next sales meeting after Thanksgiving, kind of talking about what am I saying in listing presentations? How am I setting expectations on showings, on listing time, on price, and all those type of things. So if we can get some volunteers for that, we would love that. But we want to make sure that we're having you guys prepared for that. As Les Brown says, better to be prepared and have no opportunity than to not be prepared and have the opportunity. So I think we're going to have some opportunities. Again, I said we are seeing more cancels and expireds than we have in the past. The evolution of a correction is cancels and expireds come. Then we start seeing for sell by owners start listing with us more, right? The next thing we're going to start seeing here, guys, we're already seeing the price reductions. The next thing we will start seeing, I will tell you, every correction has seen this, is part-time agents, discount brokers start getting out of the marketplace. That will be the next thing that's coming. The number of agents in this marketplace will start going down over the next 6 months. There's no question about it, which means there's an opportunity for you that are serious about this to do this. I will tell you the thing that breaks my heart. Over the last 30 days, I've had more people saying that I'm thinking about getting a part-time job or getting out of the business because I'm struggling than I've heard in the last 5 years. So every indication that I'm getting from the conversations that I'm having is here's where we're at. Doesn't mean that real estate's not going to be sold, because real estate's going to be sold. Doesn't mean there's not opportunities for us that are nurturing strong relationships. You've got a strong name with a strong sign in the yard. There's an opportunity for every one of you that's showing up here every day that's serious about this business to capture a bigger portion of this business. When I look at the last downturn, discount brokers, part-time agents, their market share goes down. Full-time agents and brokers that are really focused on this business, their market share goes up. Now, market share goes up may mean we do the exact same amount of business, but we'll take a bigger piece of the pie, and coming out of it, we'll be stronger than ever before. Questions, thoughts, any statements anybody like to make? Yes, sir.
Today is November 13th, and it's a milestone birthday for my beautiful wife of 12 years. Anyway.
She's 40 or 30?
I can't discuss her age due to privacy laws. I can kick my butt after the meeting. Anyway, because Vince has a policy that all birthdays are treated equally, we want to wish everybody who's having a birthday this month, during the month of November, a very happy birthday. And to honor that, I brought a cake for all of you to enjoy. It's going to be it's out in the kitchen. And
so you have 200 pieces out there?
Well, we have a lot of, it's a big cake. We have a lot of goodies here today. And Sherry and I would also like to welcome all the new agents coming over from CBS and the other brokerage. If you ever need any kind of help, our door's right next to Tabitha's. We're always there to give you a helping hand.
And you'll guide them to Tabitha or Heather.
Yes. Vince, his phone is on 24/7. So, but anyway, I just wanted to say thanks, and I wish all the agents having a birthday this month very happy birthday, and especially my wife.
There you go.
Do we have the Good Guy Award that we're going to give away? Let's give that to her, to Terry. Did you talk to Brooke about this?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
All right, Vince said tell somebody you're thankful for them. It's a good time of the year to do that. This person helps everybody, and she's a wonderful person, and it's Connie Wickman. And I don't know if she's here.
She out there? Come here.
Come up, Connie. Connie.
Well, this person's a wonderful person, and we're all glad to be together here and join you guys, BHHS. It's a great opportunity for all of us, and we're looking forward to going forward with all of you.
I'll take the, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, anything else that you want to talk about before we head this thing up? Yes.
50% off all transactions one time.
Transaction coordinators.
Hi guys, I'm Katie Loring. I'm a transaction coordinator. Right now through December 31st, we are offering 50% off any transaction one time for existing and new agents. We are also starting an a la carte menu, and so those items that we have are also 50% off. I will send out an email to you guys. You guys can see the prices and know where we're at, and we have our phone number and our contact information on there. Okay?
So that's one of the things we've been doing. Again, as we've been looking at the mirror at graphic designers and what we need for staff, is we are trying to change the menu to offer more options at different price points to you on this transaction coordinator position. Yes.
No.
This Friday night from 4 to 7, Kendra Scott at Village Point Mall has graciously offered to give 20% of their sales back to the Sunshine Kids. So if you can come out between 4 and 7, that would be great. Or you can probably call them if you can't be there between 4 and 7, call them and order something through the phones, I think they said. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Kendra Scott, Village Point. It's a jewelry
Real
store.
estate CE classes. My schedules are in the box right outside of my window for the remaining to November 30th to get your CE classes handled. And they're also online. All the information's there, so pick it up. I'm going to start a meeting for Procrastination Club, but I never got around to setting it up. So, but the flyers are by my office.
Guys, Brooke has disappeared, so I'm assuming this whole time she's been downstairs setting everything up. So there's going to be lots of food, lots of fun. Please, if you've got other people not here, tell them to come. Turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, desserts, down in the garage starting at 11:30. Yes, sir. Can I do a quick announcement? You can do a quick announcement.
Hi, Jim Sanderson. I'm part of the commercial division here with Berkshire Hathaway. Could I just get a quick show of hands? Anybody that works with investors kind of on a regular basis, any level. Our commercial division is having a meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. We're bringing in Hush Blackwell to talk about the opportunity zones. If you haven't heard about this, it's kind of a new program that the IRS and a bunch of the government programs have been rolling out. We're seeking some clarification on what that's going to look like, what kind of investors, the areas of town here in Omaha that have been designated those opportunity zones. And I think if you're looking to work with investors and drive some business in the next year to 4 years, this program is really going to be a great opportunity. So again, that's going to be up here on the second floor, 9 a.m. tomorrow. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself, Mike Blackman, or his assistant, Lindsay. Would you?
Are you talking commercial investing or commercial and residential investing?
It is for any type of investor.
Thank you.
And Carrie, did Carrie leave too? Mm-hmm. Wow, everybody's leaving me. We are, I think, starting. Maggie, maybe you can help me on this. Is Maggie gone? Maggie's gone too. I think, I have no idea if this is right or wrong. I believe on Friday, those of you that are CBS agents coming over, every Friday moving forward, we're going to have a come and meet the staff in this room. So you can, is that correct?
10 to noon.
10 to noon. Right. So 10 to noon, so you can come in and we'll kind of go through what each one of the staff members does, so you know who to go to for a listing or a pending or a check or stuff like that. We will start doing that. And then next time, maybe we'll get all the managers and staff up here to stand up so you guys can recognize faces. We have a sheet that we'll start handing out to everybody with the new blended admin. And so we'll give you guys a cheat sheet. Might be a couple cheat sheets of who's here and what their duties are, so that can help you understand what we're doing moving forward. Any other questions, guys? It'll have their pictures on them. It'll have their pictures on them. It may be 5 years old, but they'll have their pictures on them, okay? High school. All right. Guys, have a great day. Love to see you for lunch downstairs. Thank you very much.